Well, hello there, everybody. You just joined us here. We got about a minute to go before we get started. This is Pastor Said, the entrepreneurial pastor, cutting edge innovator. It's my new title. How do you like that? I'm cutting edge innovator. There's some innovative things here. Welcome to the Innovative Leadership with Pastor Said. Tonight we're talking about the power of innovative goal setting. As we get into that momentarily, we'll be getting you off to a good start, and hopefully you'll be able to take some good notes this evening. Feel free to actually bring comments on the page as well tonight. If you would do that, it'd be great. Or like the page, that'd be fantastic. So people will be able to know what we're doing here. And share the page as well with anybody you can on your personal pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you can share. Just go ahead and share for us. If you do that, that'd be great. Well, 6 o'clock straight up, guys. 6 o'clock straight up tonight, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. This is Pastor Said, and you're here of the Innovative Leadership with Pastor Said. Power of innovative goal setting. A little bit different topic matter tonight. We'll be looking at some information that's going to really help you and assist you. Now, some of you will have seen some of the things that I shared tonight, but I want you to hold tight because I'm going to share one component, just one very strong component. You may even think it's a simple component, but adding this one component to your goal setting will make all the difference in the world. I'll tell you all the difference in the world. It's a bold statement, but I'll back that up when you see it, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. But it'll make all the difference in the world in your goal setting. You know, one of the areas of goal setting that we like to talk about is having a specific goal, a specific goal. When you're looking at setting goals for yourself, it's always good not to have a general goal where you say, I want to lose weight. Well, how much weight do you want to lose? Or you want to make a certain amount of income. How much money do you want to make? I want to get a certain kind of job. What kind of job do you want to get? I want to live in a house. Well, what kind of house do you want to live in? I want to live in a house that's a certain square footage. Those are specific kinds of goals. And when we set specific goals, you know what ends up happening is that now this happens for me. My mind begins to have it fixed. It's fixed in my mind, and therefore I'm able to visualize in myself. I visualize what I've actually specified, and as I'm able to visualize it, I'm able to walk towards that. And I work towards it as well. So I'm working towards something I've already seen in my mind. Now, it's even better when you write it down. So if you write down a specific goal, rather than just keep it in your mind, but write it down. Write down the dollar figures, whatever you want to write down. Just write it down so that you'll be able to see specifically what you're looking for. Now, and if you can get blueprints, you can go as far as having a photograph of it. You can do all kinds of different things because it gets locked in your mind. And if you really got that goal locked in, when you really do see it come to pass, it won't be a surprise because you've already had a picture of it in your mind, and you'll also have had a chance to visualize it over and over and over again. So that specific goal is something that we really want to make sure that we have. Now, some of you have probably heard this before, and you're going to see an acronym show up in just a minute or so, and you probably figure it out right away. You're like, well, I know I can have an idea here what he's talking about. So that's a specific goal. So you've got a specific goal rather than a general goal. I know a lot of people that have general goals all the time. I want to go out to eat. Well, what do you want to eat, honey? I don't know. Well, specific goal, okay? Just say I want to eat a hamburger. Which hamburger stand would you like to go to? Name the company, name the organization, name the hamburger you want to get. There's 15 different kinds of hamburgers. Which one do you want? Hear that? So that's specific. So that's even in simplistic forms. We can go that route. So specific goal is one thing we want to have. We'll move to what's called a measurable goal. Now, measurable indicates that I can actually take some time to identify exactly what it's going to take to get it to happen. I'm going to measure my time that's going to take to get it to happen. I'm going to measure my effort. I'm going to measure the ability for it to really come to pass. I'm going to measure if I have the wherewithal to make it happen myself. I'm going to measure if I've got people involved with me that are going to make it happen with me. I'm going to be able to measure and understand exactly what it takes to get this specific goal to come to pass. So the specificity, that's the word, specificity, what's a big word for me, but we have a specific goal and a measurable goal. It makes it a lot easier to work with. Be sure to put your phone on mute if you could, because we want to get a clear sound tonight, and that'll be great. Thank you very much. But so a measurable goal would be something that, again, I'm saying to yourself, how can I measure my success? How can I measure my progress? Is my progress measurable? If my progress is not measurable, how do you know you're attaining? How do you know that you're getting to your goal? You don't, because there's no measuring involved. So you say, I want a house, and you have no way to measure if you're getting close to getting a house. Well, specifically, you would say, well, I want a house on this street. This house is going to cost X amount of dollars. And so if this house is going to cost X amount of dollars, I've got to save this amount of money. I've got to borrow this kind of money. I've got to go out and make this kind of money. And if I don't make this kind of money, the measurability of that doesn't show up at all. And it makes it real complicated. So we want to have a measurable goal in reference to how we go about receiving that which we're looking to have. So that's the next portion of it. So we've got a measurable goal, moving to what's called attainable. Now, the attainable goal, it has to be something that can really be received. You know, there are people that set goals sometimes, and they're very specific. They are kind of measurable, but they're unattainable. Meaning that they've never, okay, I'm looking to have a 6,000 square foot mansion, and all they've ever lived in is a 1,000-foot apartment, a 1,000 square foot apartment. Well, you can make that happen, but if you've not gone to a 3,000 square foot house yet, or a 2,500 square foot house yet, or even 1,500 square foot house, it may not be attainable right just yet. It may be attainable later, but not quite just yet. So the goal again here is to have an attainable goal, not just one that's going to be a small one. Yeah. So having an attainable goal makes it certainly something that you know in your heart, here you go, in your heart, that this is attainable. This is something that's a little bit beyond my reach right now today, but because it's just a little bit beyond my reach, and I have had some success in my life in this another area, as a matter of fact, in the same area, in reference to a home, for instance, or something that you want, a car, or whatever you're looking to get. I've had some success in this area, and I've attained other things in the same line of sponsorship, if you will. I've obtained other things in the same vein, if you will. That gives me the ability to think in my mind that it's attainable to me. But if it's so far reaching, it's so far out there, typically we start off the process, we go for it, and we stop. You ever been there before? You've been on a program of some sort, you're looking to get yourself more healthy, and you're doing your exercising, right? You're going out exercising every day, and you're walking every day, you're drinking all your water every day, you're taking your vitamins, you're doing all the good stuff, and all of a sudden, something happens, and it just stops. I've been there, done that, been there, done that too many times. But the next time I go after it, I'm going to be a little bit better. Same thing with the area of money. I want to save money. I want to put money away, and I'm saving money for a while. Next thing, every time an emergency pops up, right? The emergency pops up, you go ahead and take care of the emergency and take your savings plan out of the picture. Well, the attainability of that means that if you don't have a savings plan or emergency fund put away already, typically you're going to have your money attacked right off the bat. So have something that's attainable because you've got some victory already in an area of your life, and you can continue to move forward because you've already got a solidarity at some point that you can take the next step and the next step and the next step. So this again, these goals that we're talking about, SMA, and I'll spell out a word here momentarily. You're probably going to figure it out in just a minute. But as we look at the R here, it's got to be relevant. It's got to make sense. It's got to be something that's really viable for your life. If it's something that's just everybody else is doing it, I guess I can have a goal for that too. Well, everybody else's thing is not your thing. As we all have different purposes in life, and we all have different goals that we set because we have a different life, a different mission that God's given us. And because of our mission being different, we have to really think in terms of, am I doing something that's relevant for me? Am I doing something that's relevant for my family? Am I doing something relevant for the people that I work with? Am I doing something relevant for the company that I'm working with? Am I doing something relevant for my ministry, my business? Or I'm just doing something because everybody else is doing it? You see, the relevancy of this, it really makes a major difference because, again, when it's relevant, you have a commonality with it. You have some camaraderie. You feel as though that, well, gee, it makes a lot of sense to me. It's attainable. I've discovered that it's a specific goal. It's a measurable goal. It's attainable goal. It's relevant. It makes sense to me to do this because it falls in line with what I've done before, but just a higher scale. So goal setting takes us to higher scales because we can live life. Listen, we can live life without goals. Most of us do. Most of us live our lives without goals and just kind of exist and just kind of float around. And some people just what we call get lucky. You know, we don't believe in luck as Christians, but sometimes we just things just kind of happen, you know, in life. And you get around people that have things. You get around folks that are doing well in life, and you kind of just get the overflow of their blessing. Well, don't you want to be the one that has the overflow to be able to have other folks begin to live off of? That's where you want to get to. You want to get to a place where you've got a relevant lifestyle, a relevant way of functioning, a relevant way of doing your life in a big way. And so as you have a relevant goal that lines up with your life and your mission, then you're not going to get off track. You won't be off track doing things that are going to be irrelevant, if you will, that will cause you to go a different direction. It's so easy to get in a place where you go different directions. I've done it myself. Listen, guys, setting goals has never been a problem for me, but not being specific has been the problem. Setting goals has never been a problem for me, but being measurable has been a problem. Setting goals has not been a problem for me, but them being attainable has been a problem. Setting goals hasn't been a problem for me, but them being relevant to my mission, my call in life, those things have been a problem for me. So when I discovered that I could have specific, measurable, attainable, relevant goals, I realized that something could change in my life that would keep me in a tighter, you heard somebody say tight and right. Well, sometimes people say tight and right, I mean, they really mean it because things happen effectively that way. So that's how it really works, guys. Here we go. The next one is what's called time bound. Now, here's to put a time limit on when you're going to, because listen, you can have all the goals you want to, but a goal is nothing but a dream without a time limit. Okay. It's nothing but a dream, and you dream all night long. You ever had a dream, and this doesn't happen all the time. You ever had a dream, and it come to the end of the dream, and it really wasn't over yet? The dream wasn't over yet, and you figured that somehow, I think that dream was going to end a certain way. Well, you don't know because they didn't have a time limit on it. So we don't dream with time limits, but we do set goals with time limits. So if you're setting your goals now, these are what's called, and I'll spell it out for you. These are called SMART goals. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant. Hear that? You see that? Relevant and time bound. So we've got these goals. I'll go right back through them with you right now so you'll be able to see for yourself. SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Now, having a time bound goal gives you a sense of urgency to get the job done. Because otherwise, again, we could have goals and put them off for years and years and years and years and years and reset them and do all different kinds of things to get them to happen. And sometimes, hear this part, you may not agree with this or not, but sometimes it's okay to shrink your goal. Oh, no, don't shrink the goal. Well, if you've got an unattainable goal and you continue to go for an unattainable goal, you'll continue to fail over and over again. But if you can finally get a victory at some place where it's attainable, you'll be in a place where you've now gotten victory, and you can go from faith to faith and glory to glory. So you can work that in a time-bound situation. So find yourself doing something that's going to be attainable in the short run and have it a time-bound goal that's relevant for your life as well. So these are SMART goals. Now, most of you have heard about SMART goals before. I didn't bring anything new to you right now. So what's this power of innovative goal setting? What's this innovative goal setting? Pastor said, talking about innovative goal setting. He's always got some crazy stuff he's talking about innovative. Well, goal setting again is real simple. We've got specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals. Spells out SMART, just so you can remember what it really means. But as you're doing that, look at some of the things that you begin to attach to your goals. Now, I kind of gave you some hints as I was talking to you earlier. One of the things that I had never done, rarely ever done, was set a dollar amount to the goals that I set. Okay, let me explain to you. Set a dollar amount to the goals that I set. I'm looking to attain a certain amount of money for doing something. That makes sense to have a dollar amount, right? But if you're looking to get a car, you have to have a dollar amount also. If you're looking to be educated and you go to college, you have to have a dollar amount also. If you're looking to buy a house, you have to have a dollar amount also. If you're looking to put your kids through college, you have to have a dollar amount also. If you're looking to give a certain amount of money to your church, you have to have a dollar amount also. You see how this works? Anytime you're looking to buy a new suit, you have to have a dollar amount. You want to get that $9,000 dress, ladies? You have to have a dollar amount. Okay, you're looking to get that Nolan Miller, whatever you call those things. Different dresses people have, right? But you have to have a dollar amount. You have to know exactly what the dollar amount is. Now, if you don't know the dollar amount, you've got an unspecific goal, because we're talking about specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals. What would happen when you put a dollar amount to the goals? What will begin to happen? Let's talk about that for a moment. Something that really begins to happen, you can have a specific amount of money that you want to begin to have in reference to the goal that you've set. You know, I'm looking at the Santa community, and I begin to realize that at some point we'd have to have some goals for the Santa community that are going to have some dollar amounts attached to them, because the time that I invest and other people invest has to be, people have to be compensated for that because they're investing time. But there's never, ever, ever any specific amount of money that's attached to the goals that we set for the Santa community. You know what's going to end up happening? You get a bunch of burnout people that don't do the job anymore because they, listen, we go through with hunger and excitement for a little while. We go through with the passion and mission for a little while. And at some point, there's that innovation, that hunger for what we do becomes something that somebody else will recognize, and we'll go get paid to do it somewhere else. And so having a specific amount of money attached to a goal, and I'm just talking about Santa, for instance, but that happens with anything, by the way. If you happen to be involved in a ministry and you're looking to work in ministry, and you're always going to go work in ministry, and you're going to do it on your own at some point, you can do it for free if you choose to. But listen, a labor is worthy of their hire. And I believe that a lot of times that believers put themselves in a position where we don't think in terms of how God wants to honor us because we honor him. He really does want to honor us as we honor him. So if we begin to attach a dollar amount to the work that we're doing or the goals that we're setting, we'll find ourselves doing more to get, now not just for the money, but we're doing it because we do have a goal in mind that's very specific, have a specific dollar amount. I like to see our community do wonderfully well. But it's going to take a lot more than just a lot of free effort to make it happen. If we're going to do things on a high class, top quality scale, it's going to require money to get it done. So think in terms of that for your own business or your own ministry, for your own household, a specific dollar amount that you'll add to your goals that you already have set. And then we look at measurable milestones. Now, these measurable milestones are these areas where you know the time limit, the time bound, because I'm going to jump around a little bit here, but you know you've got a time bound situation. But the measurable milestones will help you identify the amount of money that you need to have at certain times, or you'd like to have at certain times. So if you've got a goal set, let's say for $10,000, and you want to have you want to do that in a year. Well, if you have a measurable milestones of having let's say $883 a month, that'd be $10,000, right? So $883 a month, and you know what you have to do, the activity that you have to get that to happen every month. Now, if you're not doing the activity, you can't expect that kind of income to come in. But if you have, again, the goal set, you've got a specific dollar amount you're looking at, you've got specific measurable milestones, you'll know exactly where you are in the process. Now, often God will do something really interesting. He won't always give it to you the way you want it. Okay. How many have you been in a situation like that where God just didn't give it to you the way you wanted it? He gave it to you the way he wanted it. And so as you continue to be faithful, here's this part is wonderful, because you set a long-term goal, I say a short-term goal. And often we talk about these goals, short-term goals being, 3 years, maybe 5 years, 10 years. These are short-term goals at some point. You got 1 year goals as well. But we don't get into long-term goals too much. I'm going to maybe share some with you here a little bit down the road regarding legacy goals that will really mess your mind up. But let's talk about this measurable milestones right now, because let's say in a year's time, you're looking to get $10,000. That's $883 every month. And if you don't get it the first month, you get a portion of it, you're a little bit short the next month, right? Well, God works a little bit different than just on our timetable. What he does is, I believe God really looks at our faithfulness, our commitment to be able to be involved in his plan for the length of the time that he wants us to be involved in his plan. I have never seen the righteous forsaken or a seed breaking bread. I've seen God come through time and time again because of the faithfulness of an individual. And my faithfulness, the faithfulness of other people, I've seen God come through time and time again. So he'll come through for you the same way. So just have a goal that has, again, specific dollar amount, and then also a measurable milestone, so you'll know exactly where you're headed in the process. And then we go beyond that to have attainable amount of money. Now, see, if sometimes we have these goals again, it's got to be attainable. And if you're thinking, well, I need $100,000 by next month. Okay, how attainable is that? Okay, are you really going to get there? Do you think you've got something to make that happen? Well, you could. I mean, it's a possibility. With God, all things are possible. But what's the most you've ever done in your life? Have you ever had $25,000 show up at your house at one time, or in one check? Have you ever had $50,000 show up in one check before? And I can go for these kind of goals. I've had $25,000 checks show up at one time. I mean, I've had $35,000 checks show up at one time because of situations I've been involved in my life. And so I can believe God for bigger things now. I'm going for 50,000 and 100,000 down the road because I've seen these attainable amounts actually happen in my life. So for you, look at where you have attained in the past, and then begin to set an attainable amount of money that you can believe God for. That's going to be measurable, have some measurable milestones, and there'll be a specific amount. So you'll be able to understand what that means. Now, next we're going to go right to the relevancy, and to have a relevant cause. Listen, this makes all the difference in the world. I'll tell you this, a relevant cause. Now, the cause itself may be a ministry. Listen, some of us are in a single, we're single, right? And we're looking at getting married, and you want to have this wonderful wedding. Was that a relevant cause to have a money to get married? Absolutely, it is a wonderful, relevant cause. So the relevancy of that is that you're not just with yourself anymore. You're with somebody else believing God for that to happen. That makes a major difference. Now, I'm talking to you as single people today, but there's some people on the call today they're not single. That happen to be in a situation where they're married and they're believing God for specific amounts of money together. They're believing God for measurable milestones and watching that come to pass. They've got an attainable amount of money that they're believing God for together, and they've got a relevant cause that's going to help them as a couple do what they have to do. But as a single person, you want to find somebody you can partner with, that you can agree with, that you can talk to, that you can pray with, that's going to help you understand what your relevant cause will be, and see if your relevant cause is really relevant or not, or if it's even a cause. Because I've seen people do things that have not been causes at all, but just wishes and dreams. But a relevant cause is something that will get you up early in the morning to begin to think about it, and get you up early in the morning, begin to pray about it and seek God on behalf of what this cause is all about. And God gives you witty inventions and ideas. He'll give you everything you need pertaining to life and godliness to make things happen. So again, we've got a really interesting dynamic going on here. Beyond all the things that I'm talking about here, we've got the Holy Spirit that really helps us and leads us and guides us and directs us to be able to work ourselves to a specific amount of money for the goal that we've set, the measurable milestones that we have, the attainable amount of money that we work with, and then a relevant cause. That's something that's viable for our lives. Again, it may be a vehicle for yourself. You need a vehicle. You need another house to get in, because your house is too small, whatever. It becomes relevant at that point. It's no longer just a pipe dream or just something that you just want to get because everybody else has got it. That's not the deal. It has to be relevant to your situation and relevant to what God's purpose is for your life as well. So that's a big deal there. The last one is this: the time bound. Has to be a time bound project. Now, again, it's just pretty simple. You know, the project has to be a certain amount of time. Now, folks that are getting married, I use the illustration regarding marriage because among the single people in our community, most of us at some point will get married. And so a time-bound project means that you're going to have a certain time for your engagement, a certain time that you're going to set to get your date for your marriage and your wedding. And then when that actually happens, that time-bound project comes to not an end, it comes to a start, okay? Because you have only a certain amount of time to get the cash together to be able to have your goal accomplished. That is to be saying I do to your spouse at that point. Now, the time-bound aspect of it means maybe it's a year from now, maybe it's 2 years from now, maybe it's 3 years from now, but you set the time on it. So you'll be able to recognize what the specific amount of money you're going to have, and then just come in. You'll be able to look at the measurable milestones. You'll be able to look at the attainable amount of money that you're looking to get. If it's an attainable amount of money, believe God for it. If it's a relevant cause, marriage is a relevant cause, so you have a good deal there. So I'm just giving you some ideas that really will help you understand that it's not a bad thing to have these relevant causes. It's not a bad thing to have attainable amounts of money or measurable milestones or a specific amount of money attached to the goals that you set. But you do need to have, certainly we all need to have a time-bound project where we know it's going to come to a place of closure at that certain point for that one juncture, and then we go into more goals. Now, with goals, we continue to set goals. All of our lives we set goals. We're setting goals or we're not. We're either part of somebody else's goal or we're part of our own goals. What is your choice today? Your choice should be, hopefully, to set your own goals. Be innovative in your thinking regarding goal setting, because, again, this is not something that we can play around with it. We could if we choose to, but I think that we get to a place in our lives where we have goals now, rather than just setting these goals and just kind of hoping that they come to pass. Put a dollar amount to them. I'm telling you, when you put a dollar amount to them, it makes it more serious. The game is no longer a game. It becomes a reality. It becomes real to you because you know exactly what's going to have to happen. And see, we play this game of life with dollars and cents, right? We play this game of life with dollars and cents. And the ones that have the dollars, he who has the gold rules. What you've heard that statement made before? He who has the gold rules. And the ones that have the gold are the ones who planned on and had set goals to get the gold. Did you hear me? They set goals to get the gold. Gold didn't just fall in their lap. It happened as a result of them making a plan to get it. And God knows the thoughts that he thinks towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil, to give you a future and a hope. And if you're going to have a future and a hope in God, it's going to require that you have even the finances to be able to finance the ministry that he's got you, it has you involved in. Finance the household that he'll put you in to oversee. Finance the business that you're involved in. And God doesn't put you in situations where he's going to have you fail. He wants you to succeed. And so having these goals set again, God can come in and override anything he wants to override. But again, if we do our part in faith, we step out in faith and set specific measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals that have dollar amounts attached to them, that have milestones attached to them, that has a certain amount that we have understand that we're looking to attain, and we have a cause that's a relevant cause that's powerful enough for us to continue to move forward, and has a time-bound aspect of the project that will come to closure at a certain time. Now, guys, I do come to you once in a while with some wild, crazy stuff, and today I wanted to bring this information to you today because goal setting is a big thing, and people do goal setting all the time. But I wanted to read this last innovative component of it that will assist you in setting your goals. And I hope that you have taken some notes today. You can also get the replay of this on Google Hangout rather, and actually on YouTube as well. YouTube, and you'll be able to come to this page and pick it up for the next week or so. It'll be around. But after that, you have to go to YouTube to pick it up. And just look for the power of innovative goal setting. You'll be able to see it on YouTube. It'll be right there. Now, I did promise you that I was going to tell you about something that will really help you in a big way. And this is about stories. You know, stories sell. You know, I'm done with the other part, but stories do sell. Now, let me tell you this. Innovative storytelling is what preachers do every day, but it's also what you do every day. But you're not getting paid for it. Okay, you're telling stories, you're talking to folks all the time, and you're sharing your testimony. You're helping people share their testimony, and sometimes you even share their story better than they share it. Do you ever had that happen? Let me tell the story, okay? I've had that happen to me. Somebody says, listen, you be quiet. Let me tell the story. And somebody is able to tell your story better than you can. That shouldn't happen that way, but it does happen on occasion. But the one that tells your story better than you tell it is the one that gets paid. I want to talk to you about that the very next time we get together, about story selling and how there's a power of innovative storytelling. And we're going to go through some basic understanding about storytelling, how you can begin to even share your personal testimony, if you will, or your story with other people, and begin to even assist other people doing the same thing, and find out how you can be compensated to do so. Oh, listen, I'm not going to ask you for any money. That's not what we're looking to do here, okay? But what we are doing is giving you positioning you as a believer to be the head and not the tail, above only and never beneath, to think differently. You see, with anything about innovative leadership is really about just thinking differently. And that's all I do. I just think a little bit differently than most people. I'm not out there. I'm just a little bit, listen, I'm just a little bit different than most people. That's all I am. And so my thinking has got me to a place where I'm able to tell my story, and I've helped other people tell their stories, and I get compensated to do that. Now, that's how I do what I do to some degree. Now, people that I'm assisting these days in the Santa community and other communities as well are going to be able to help tell their stories at the same time. And we want to help you do the very same thing so you can be in a position of your life where your stories are going around the world touching somebody else with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Can you imagine? I'll close out with this. Can you imagine the numbers of people that would know Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior if we all were telling our stories and helping other people tell their stories? Wouldn't that be an amazing thing to be a part of? You telling your story and helping a few other people tell their story. Because everybody has a story and everybody has a different story. And all you've done is just tell yours and help a few other people tell theirs. And the world gets a chance to hear the good news of Jesus Christ. That's what innovative storytelling is all about. There's a power in that, a power in multiplied numbers of people doing the same thing, just in a different story. That's awesome. I don't know if you get that or not, but I want to talk to you about that next week as we get together. So God bless you tonight. I'm done about 6:27 here. I try to keep my time right at 6:30 or so. 30 minutes of time, get together with you guys and come on here and just get it done. We don't mess around. So bless you until next time. This is Pastor Said, sign off. We will see you the next time around. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you.